What's up, guys? It's Cory Greenwood here. Happy to be on Matt Logan's podcast tonight. What are we talking about, Matt?
Oh, dude, I'm just getting in. We got to get my mic set here first. Hey, everybody, thanks for joining us live. One thing I love about Cory is like we get really intimate.
You can't get much more intimate than two guys in a hot tub together. Right?
Exactly. For the record, this wasn't my idea.
This was my idea. I believe this thing wasn't running, so this was my light encouragement to for you to get it fixed.
Right. It light encouragement. That's a pretty words are important.
I only called you like once every couple weeks and asked if it was done. So.
I thought it was like a couple times a day. That's how I remember.
Hey man, hey, it's worth it though. If you don't know, this is inside Matt's house, a hot tub in a house. You can't get much better than that. Especially
in Minnesota in the wintertime.
Absolutely.
Got to have it indoors. What are we talking about today? You know, kind of life changes. You worded it pretty well. I'm going to let you say it. You remember how you worded it?
Yeah, life as we know it, as we knew it.
Yeah.
Kind of about COVID. This past year, 13 months?
You can drop your mic if you need to.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
If I'm short, so like if I fall, I'm like down here, you know. But bring it down just a little bit. So
make sure they, hammer the share button.
Hammer the share button, guys. So kind of the last 13 months, what COVID has brought us through, we've all been on a journey. And I think a lot of good has come of it, at least in my life. I don't know about you, Matt, but the things that I thought I lost through COVID really turned out to be huge blessings in disguise. And we're going to talk a little bit about that, talk a little bit about what COVID's looked like for you. And I told you earlier what I say. Tonight, it's going to be spicy. It's going to be spicy.
So. We are in a hot tub. And we have slept together. Okay, for the record.
We need to clarify. We've slept in the same hotel room together.
And we've talked about
that's the line.
And we've talked about the quirkiness that I have.
Absolutely. But here's the thing, Matt, is as I'm getting older, back when that was, I was 2.5 years ago, I think. Two and a half years.
Yeah.
I've gotten older and wiser since then. And, I used to make fun
of you. Anyway.
Yeah, older. I used to make fun of you for some of those quirks, but now I kind of appreciate them.
Wow. Yeah. This is recording, right?
It's funny how life works.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. I remember, actually, let's talk about March 5th. March 5th, you were down speaking in Iowa.
I was.
And you busted your hiney to get up to an event that I was having.
Absolutely.
I appreciated that. But we talked about COVID at that point and how, what's this going to do? And, there was three of us, one of our other friends. We hung out for quite a while afterwards. We talked about, is this really going to happen? They were initially talking about what they were going to shut down and not shut down. They'd already shut down the border to China and some of those things. But I believe, was it a couple days before that, I had called you from the airport because I had gotten, it was a couple days before that because I had gotten out of the airplane. My phone was blowing up. I had all kinds of messages and I started getting cancellations.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that?
And I remember you telling me, about that.
And I said, hey, what are you seeing?
Mm-hmm.
I've had 3 or 4 cancellations today. Yep. And this was maybe the 2nd or 3rd of March. And you're like, oh, they can't do that.
Yeah, I mean,
I said they're doing it.
If you don't know Matt and I, Matt's always the down to earth, okay, this is what I'm seeing, and I'm always like, oh man, it's gonna be better than that. It's not gonna take that long. It's not gonna be that hard. It's not gonna be that difficult. See, I remember that phone call because I was dealing with a situation for a school out in Oregon, which I'm actually going to finally next week, going to do the school that I was supposed to do last year. And I was like struggling because there was some cases out in Oregon at that time. And I was like, do I go? Do I not go? And it was like a big deal. Do I want to cancel on this school? Because I just felt terrible about it. Because times hadn't shifted yet. I was doing a week-long school tour. We were actually, to be honest, we were joking about COVID at that time because it seemed like one of those things. Like it was so far away. Was it really going to turn into something? So it was kind of one of those things. And then literally, I was doing a school the following week, I believe, and literally the next day, the world was shut down.
I want to take a second to say that's what is a strength for me for our friendship. Like you're, I sometimes get a little bit too realistic. I try to be an optimist, optimistic. How would you say
optimistic pessimist?
No, an optimistic realist, I suppose. Yes, I try to be real about things, but then also optimistic on the a little bit more on the optimistic side. But you definitely helped me with that. Like that's really big for me. That this is a balance, right? And I appreciate that about you. So,
and that's what's so we weren't even planning on talking about this tonight. I don't even know what we're like, if we planned out anything.
No.
Just kind of free flow here, but that's what life's about. Like I need people like you who can say, "Hey, Cory, wait a minute, take a breath, dude." Like I love the passion. I love where you're going, what you're doing, but have you thought about this? And a lot of times I railroad you at first, but I think about it. I'm like, maybe Matt was right, or maybe so-and-so was right. And we need that.
Yeah. And we've also been able to come up with some pretty good ideas, I think, together with that balance too, and that's what it's about, is about not being stagnant and staying in the same place. I have the other podcast. So the theme is escape the echo chamber.
Yeah.
And so that if we're in there just bouncing our own ideas around all the time, we're just in that echo chamber. And so I think that's so important to have. So I do appreciate that about you, and thank you. But yeah, back to COVID. Like,
it was a journey, wasn't it?
Yeah. I'm proud of what I'm doing full time right now. But I'm not going to talk about exactly what that is. Yeah. Because you know why. I mean, I'm trying to work with the Department of Public Safety
for sure
on something there with that. But I was really thankful that I could transition into that 100% full time, because I had like 37 speaking engagements that were wiped out in like 10 days.
Yeah. It was nuts. Like March was the best month I've ever had. Like kind of my journey. You met me kind of in the middle of it. But when I was still grinding
at the
YMCA, right? When I crashed and burned, right? It was a good night, but it was a learning night. Let's be real.
Well, DJ Kirk, I think, made it a good night. Let's just
he at least did his part.
No.
But, you've seen the journey and how hard it's been in like March, February, the beginning of 2020, the end of 2019 was like, I was like, okay, finally some fresh air, right? I can finally take a breath. It's finally starting to pay off. Like, it's not a total grind every single day. It's always been worth it to see people's lives being transformed. But the financial side has always been tough, and it finally was kind of starting to lean into my favor. And then COVID hit in the middle of like what I thought was going to be the greatest year ever for my business, and it wiped it totally out.
So we have our first comment. We actually have a couple of them, but
Yeah.
same person. So we should probably start a new podcast, Hunks and Trunks.
I appreciate
Thanks for the comment.
I appreciate the
She-
optimistic comment that we will eventually look like hunks.
COVID weight, right?
Yeah,
I know I've gained, I told you that too. I gained the most weight in the last year that I've ever gained in my entire life. Well, other than probably when I was a little kid, but my adult life. I mean, I'm like, I wasn't like a regular at the gym, but I would go when I traveled, I would go to the gym and work out a little bit and stay in decent shape. But they closed all the gyms down. And so it's a catastrophic event, like for everybody, this whole, all the shutdown and the COVID thing. So
yeah, it was one of those things. It's like in the past, and I'm young, so I haven't been through a whole lot, but in the past, you could always go somewhere else to escape it.
Yeah.
But this, you couldn't. Yeah. You couldn't just get on a plane and go speak in other countries. You couldn't just go and do that. It was everything. So what do you do other than look in the mirror? And here's the thing, Matt, is COVID didn't cause a lot of problems. It just exposed them.
Exactly. I talked about this last week, actually, on a podcast, and I said, you know, you've heard me even say this probably more times than you would care to, but I say this in my assemblies too. Circumstances do not make us who they are; they reveal who we are.
Absolutely.
So it did. You're right.
Yeah, and I mean, I'd be lying if I didn't say that I didn't like what I saw when I looked in that mirror at the beginning of COVID. It's not that I was making catastrophic decisions. It's not that I was out breaking the law or doing anything crazy, but I had just forgot some things about who I am, what I stand for, because I got so busy chasing the dream. I got so caught up in I was doing the right thing that I forgot that the most important thing is to be the right person. And if you're the right person, then the right thing comes. So on the weight thing, I was at the heaviest I've ever been. I graduated high school at 138 pounds. And at the peak of COVID this summer, I reached 193 pounds was the heaviest I was. And I had to do something about it. You know, the gyms were closed. So as they started to open back up this fall before they closed again, I started working out. I'm proud to say I've so far lost 27 pounds.
Nice.
Since COVID hit. I got a few more to go. I'd like to lose about 15 more. But it's one of those things that when I didn't have something distracting me, all I could do is think about the things that I needed to do. I mean, I wasn't healthy. I'm not saying that I eat healthy now, but I watch a little bit more what I eat. I'm in better shape. My daughter tells me I don't snore as much. So that's a positive for my future wife, right? Because she don't want to hear me snoring. So just positive things that have come out of COVID that I don't know what would have happened had it not interrupted everything.
Something that just popped in my mind, Maya Angelou said that do the best you can until you know better, and then when you know better, do better.
Yeah.
And that's so powerful for me because you were doing the best that you could. COVID hit, and then you knew better.
Yeah.
You had to look in that mirror. You had to look at yourself. You had to, and then you did something. You did better.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I'm trying every day, and I'm not on here to say that I have it figured out or that I've reached any pinnacle or anything, but it was the pain of the moment that exposed who I really was. And like I said, it wasn't like I would have ended up in jail if people knew or anything like that. But I know the type of person that I'm supposed to be. I know the type of person that I want to be. I know the type of person that I strive to be. And it was just little areas. You know, they say what a ship, if it's off just 1% or something like that, it will completely miss the whole continent.
Right.
And that's what it caused me to look at, was like the 1% shift in relationships, in parenting, in my health, in my business, in my faith, all sort of things. That it's not like I was off 50%. It might have been 1, 2, some of them might have been 10 or 20. I mean, I've made some pretty big mistakes. But as hard as this last year was, Matt, in my short adult life, I've never been in a better place than I am right now. Never.
We have another comment. Don't drop the mics in the water.
Try not to.
So be careful over there. And that's what's really important about life, because the things, it happens, right?
Absolutely.
And what there's joy and there's happiness. And happiness, being happy is what we're reliant on, what happens to us.
Yeah.
It's outside circumstances that we, buy a new car, buy a boat, go to the bar, go do this, that outside things that occur is happiness. But when those things are gone, if we don't have that inner joy, if we don't have that foundational flame, that 1%, that's big.
Yeah. And I think the world was so caught up in being busy.
Yes.
That a lot of people, I mean, you saw a lot of breakups. You saw a lot of relationships going downhill. You saw a lot of messy situations. And it's not
violent crime is up, suicides are up, alcoholism is up, drug addiction is up, drug overdose death is up, like significantly. So it's close. At least their battery, you're good. That's in a good spot.
I won't get electrocuted, at least.
It's battery, so it won't kill you. Might kill me.
Kill battery. It'll just kill this microphone that's fairly cheap.
Depends upon who's buying it.
I know, because I've bought a few of them. But yeah, those things are going up, and I think it's because a lot of people just have forgot how to actually deal with things. We just get busy and it's over and done with, so we don't have to think about it. But when there's nothing to do, all you have to do is think about it. And what do you do with it?
Wow.
You either go really deep into despair, which, let me tell you, I went there.
Yeah.
I mean, first part of COVID, I went there.
We had a deep conversation. Would have been December maybe last year.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
From September to December, I think we had a lot of.
Yeah, but there was one. Maybe it was. Yeah. I don't know, but anyway, last fall, winter. Yeah, it was deep.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is like, the cool thing is I say I've never been in a better place, but that doesn't mean the things around me still don't suck in some way, shape, or form. But the relationships that I have now have made up for it. Because like I've told you how many times during our conversations, right, is that, and every mentor, every like close friend that I have that knows a lot about my business, I've said the cool thing is that I am so happy and in such a good place, and none of it has to do with my business. Which is great to be excited and passionate about your business and about what you do in your calling. But that cannot be the only thing.
No, it's important to, so I think in society, the way we've been programmed is, you work and you work and you work, and then you go watch sports or whatever else, and there's nothing really foundational and difference making. Where it used to be like you would, well, let's go even back to, I mean, everybody was like a farmer back in the day, right? And I mean, not everybody, but everybody had to help on the farm. You had to do those things because there wasn't equipment. I mean, there was horses and all these one row plows. I remember my grandpa talking about some of that. So you go back there. But what happened when some of that industrial revolution started to really take off, and you started to have some of these tractors and all these farm equipment? So you didn't have to have 12 kids around the farm anymore. And all these things. So what did that do? It freed up people's minds to start creating wireless microphones. People were able to create, and it exploded. Technology exploded in all realms of life, right? Well, it seems like we're in such a place that no one is creative anymore. Not no one, but fewer people. I mean, it used to be everybody was being creative, right? And it looks, just to me, in my perspective, it just looks like people are more concerned about working so hard and buying that boat and going to all those sports games and some of those kinds of things, rather than they're not building anything, posterity, right? Building things for the future. And so when you get into a place like COVID, all of a sudden then, not having those foundational things, you are in trouble. You don't know what to do with yourself. You don't know, you have to look in the mirror, as you say, and then things can really go one of two ways. You can start putting the pieces back together, or you can have it all fall apart. Is that thing turning on you?
No, I'm just shifty.
Okay.
I got it.
All right. Well, that tightener right by your hand there, tighten that up just a little bit more. Yeah.
It's pretty tight.
Okay, good. Because that's what was. It looked like it was tipping a little bit. Yeah. But you know what I mean? I don't know if that makes any sense, but it seems like it's not really creative and foundational. These people that did things like, I mean, I don't know. It just seemed different even from when I was growing up. I'm significantly older than you are, so I remember the technology and how it boomed.
Yeah, I am not as old as you, but I do remember when
our producer's over there laughing.
that was my subtle jab.
It wasn't subtle,
but I remember when cell phones and that came out, and I think people are creative now in different ways, but I think a lot of people, just get caught up in, like you say, grind until I can retire, and then I can enjoy the last
11 years of 11 years is the statistic.
Of my life.
Yeah.
It's actually lower if you look at people who actually, if they stop working, the death rate goes way up.
So I'm going to read a couple of comments to you. So everybody keep hammering out the comments, but we have one that is deep topics, literally deep. Thank you for staying above water. So thanks for that comment, right? And then great to see dialogue in the pool and important topics to wrestle with. Next time, it'll be on the beach, LOL.
Yes. That's the thing.
And then we just got another one, bubbles before troubles.
Absolutely. Man, we're getting all sorts of cliches.
We love it. It's good.
I'm all for the beach. What did I tell you? I told you for the hot tub. I said, Matt, if you want me, I'm not coming back on the podcast unless it's in the hot tub.
I know.
So right now,
he literally said that.
I literally
everybody
said that. I said, I am not that he has been begging me to come on, but I was just put it out there. I said, hey, don't even think about asking me unless it's in the hot tub.
I'm gonna actually do something that reminds me. I don't mean to interrupt, but I do really actually. Olive Branch. I'm going to do a segment on Friday. I'm just going to do a solo. I've been thinking about it a lot the last few days, especially. I've talked about it a little bit. I have literally, and I want to be careful and be respectful of people and their time, but I've literally, as I would say, I've held out an olive branch for all kinds of, this is the podcast Thought Perspective. My goal on that is to have a dialogue like this, to have the perspective of other people, not just mine. Well, the literal truth is it's difficult to get people to do it. Cancellations and some of those things, but I think we need to push people a little bit more and not be behind the screen and get them in front of the camera. And I guess I'll talk about more on that on Friday morning, so tune in. I think 10 o'clock I'll probably do it. But when you look, I want to be respectful of people and their time, but when you get behind a computer and you start pounding out comments and you don't have to look somebody in the face and explain what you mean, it's pretty easy to do. And then what does that create? It creates some of the things that we've seen in COVID. And that's why, I wanted to kind of bring that up, is because it's really caused too much division in places that it doesn't need to be.
For sure. And that's the thing, is like, life and people are valuable, and the issues that we're talking about are too. But what comes first, the person or the issue?
The chicken.
Does it? I don't know.
It depends.
I think God came first.
It depends upon your belief system. So if you believe God came first, you believe the chicken was first.
For sure.
Yeah. But I say chicken. If you understand my meaning.
I don't.
I believe in God.
Okay.
Creator.
Making me look silly here.
I don't need to do anything to make you look silly, dude.
But the cool thing is that traveling around, doing what I do,
and we've traveled together.
We have,
a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. I would like to do that more.
Yeah, once we get the tour bus.
Yes,
we'll be.
I've been looking at them.
We'll be touring around. It's going to be the Matt and Cory show. But the cool thing is we get to meet people of all different beliefs.
Yes.
And I look in the eyes of people who don't believe what I believe, who don't look like I look, who didn't grow up the way I grew up. And I say the same thing to them, that they matter, that their story matters. And I mean it. It doesn't matter only if they vote they can't even vote, but let's just say when they get older, it doesn't matter if they believe the way I believe, or if they end up voting for who I think they should vote for, or if they go to church where I go to church. It doesn't matter to me in that moment. Those issues are important, but the ultimate reality is that everybody matters. And if you do believe in God, I saw this quote the other day that said, you will never look into the eyes of someone that God doesn't love. And if that doesn't challenge you, I don't know what does. And I haven't always been the best at that, but I think I'm getting better. I think people like you challenge me to get better. We've had a lot of conversations over the years, and
excuse me while I turn the bubbles on. Actually, no, it just has to heat up a little bit. Hopefully this doesn't come through too terrible on the mics,
but yeah, like I was saying, I mean, what stuff gets lost, man. Mm-hmm. Like, and we got to get back to the people. We got to get back to.
What I believe, dude.
Looking in
you are
preaching
eyes,
to
the choir.
Like, I know I am.
You saw what I mean, we've talked about what I'm doing.
Yeah.
These events again and stuff.
Yeah.
We're bringing it.
That's the thing, is people matter.
Yeah.
And if they matter, like, treat them like they matter.
Yeah.
Even when they don't agree with you.
Especially when they don't agree with you.
Because if they don't agree with you, they can't give you anything. And that's what true love is.
Yes. Yes. Well,
and go ahead.
That's well said, man.
And I'm working on it. I'm not perfect. I've said things I shouldn't. I've done things I shouldn't. We all have.
Yeah.
But that's what a relationship is. Matt, if I say something to you that hurts you, you're not going to cancel me.
No, I'm gonna get right in your nose.
Yeah.
And nose to nose, eye to eye. And I'm gonna say, what in the heck are you thinking? What did I do?
Exactly.
I mean, I've asked you that, like, you before, hey, what can I do better? What did I do? What, all that kind of stuff. And that's so important, to be confrontational, but also reflective.
Yeah. Because that's the thing, is like, the ultimate relationship is someone who loves you, that when they do say things that kind of sting, either it is something that's true and you need to think about and really work on, or maybe something's going on with them and you can take the time to have that conversation.
Yeah.
That's what relationship is. You have to have the freedom to make mistakes.
Yeah.
You have to have the freedom to say the wrong things.
Yes.
And in the world we live in, we don't have that freedom.
No.
Everybody's so afraid to say the wrong thing that we're becoming strangers to everybody. Family members are strangers. Your own brother, your own sister, mom, dad are strangers because we can't say something that might offend them. And I'm not saying that we're supposed to go out there and say hurtful things, but we have to have the room, the space to say those things and risk offense, but then to come back around full circle and then sit down at the table and say, hey, this is how I feel. That's not how I meant it. I'm sorry it came out that way. You have the conversation.
Just because I'm wrong doesn't make you right.
Exactly.
Let me say that again. Just because I'm wrong doesn't make you right. And that's that space.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that are so confrontational, and they think there's a right and there's a wrong, when it's an opinion and a perspective.
Yeah.
And that's all that it is.
Yep.
What's it like outside?
Depends who you ask.
Exactly.
Cold to me.
Some people think this is great. I know people that were just out playing basketball outdoors in this, thought it was the best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah. That's the cool thing about the way God made us, is there's truth. That's truth, and there's nothing that can change that. But then there's opinions, there's perspectives, there's our preferences, stuff like that, like you said, there isn't necessarily a right or a wrong. It's just, do you like banana and peanut butter on a sandwich?
No.
Either do I.
Actually, I do.
Okay.
No, I just want to be opposite. I haven't had that in a long time. I don't remember.
But I don't. I've actually never in my adult life eaten a banana.
You're kidding.
That's always so I'm young, so like they sometimes do like that 2 truths and a lie game.
Yes. That's
always one of my truths, because everybody always gets that as my lie, because they're like, there's no way.
Right. That's
never eaten a banana in my adult life. I'm sure my mom forced me to when I was younger and I can't remember.
Yeah.
But in my memory, I've never eaten a banana.
Yeah.
Other than in banana bread. I do have to clarify that now, because I do like banana bread, chocolate chip banana bread. If anybody wants to make it, just hit me up.
I am Cory Greenwood.
Yeah. Just hit me up. I will always go for some banana chocolate chip bread.
Right. I like how you're so like transparent with that, and how we need to get back to that, and how you weren't always great at it and you're getting better. And that's really the key, is to have that acknowledgement on, hey, it's like the 6 and the 9. I mean, we could go through analogies all the time. Like I could draw a 6, and to you it's going to look like a 9, and to me it's a 6. Yeah. And so it's just it's that perspective and viewpoint. angle and all those things. And so we do have to allow people that space.
Yeah.
And I think that for me is I see people my age, they're getting worse at giving people that space. And holy cow, I hope I'm getting better.
Yeah.
I mean, there's certain things that I draw the line for sure, but
yeah, and there's things, but you still have to have space for love.
Oh,
like I've been thinking a lot lately about, a true friend, because through this COVID, like I said, I've had a lot of difficult conversations with you and other people in my life who told me what I didn't want to hear. But that's what a true friend does. And I gave him permission for that.
You know how many people tell me, like, I didn't want to hear that, but I needed to hear that?
Absolutely.
I've told you this. I can kind of be a dink. I can be an a-hole about some of that kind of stuff. And we've talked about that. Yeah. But I don't know. It's just, that's a gift.
The gift of a-holeness. I kind of have that too a little bit. I'm working on that.
I try to not do it in a super negative way, but I try to do it in a way that it's like, okay, I think that I worded it literally to you the other day on the phone. I said, it's like, for me, I'll dance with you for a while, but then box. And then we're going to box. Like, we're going to do the hard stuff. Right.
And that's the thing, is like, every single person out there watching me, you, the lady behind the camera, everything, we all need people that we give permission to call us out.
Yeah.
Because a true friend, if you're walking on a railroad track and there's a train coming and you ask, hey, am I good? And they're like, yeah, as long as you're having fun, like, as long as you're enjoying it, don't worry about that train. But they know you're going to die as soon as that train hits you. That ain't a friend.
No.
I've been hit by some trains.
That's a good analogy.
And sometimes it feels like a train hits you when they tell you that things you don't want to hear. But that's what changed everything during COVID. Is I got so many people in my life now that I allowed to speak into it, and I finally started to listen a little bit more than I used to.
Maybe I should start listening more.
We all should. Not that you're a bad listener, but we all should. We all can get better.
Yeah. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, right?
Yeah. I forget that a lot.
So we're at like 40 minutes nearly.
40 minutes.
Yeah.
We got to wrap this up.
We should start to, faint here or something with this heat.
Yeah, what do they say? Like 20 minutes you're only supposed to be in a hot tub?
Yeah, I turned it down though.
Okay.
But it's
more like a lukewarm bathtub at this point.
Right.
This is weird, but when I take a bath, I like to lay down and let the water drain out.
Oh, yeah. I get it.
You can kind of feel it going down.
Yeah.
That last little bit
it's not so fun.
Kind of weird.
Yeah.
But,
see, we have, these are the kinds of conversations that we have. Like, literally, this is Cory and I. Weird stuff like this. But it's great.
That's the cool thing about life, Matt, is just as we wrap this up, I think this is a great point, is 3 years ago, I had an article written about me after I spoke at a school and called me enigmatic, or however you say that.
Okay.
Right. And it kind of means like confusing. Right. And I was hurt by it.
Sure.
And the reason why was because, in my assembly program, I start out dancing, having fun, and then we go deep, and then we laugh, and then we have fun, and then we go deep. And it's like, what's going on here? Right. I used to take that like kind of as a bad thing, but lately I realized that there's no greater compliment than for somebody to not know exactly all the things I've gone through because I have joy. Because even though I've been through that stuff, I still have joy, and I still love what I do. I love the people I'm surrounded by. So then slowly, as people get to know me, they're like, oh my gosh, you've been through that. You've been through that. You've been through that. I had no idea. That's a compliment.
That's a huge compliment. And I get that because people don't take the time to ask the questions And that's what I meant by being behind that computer screen or your phone or whatever else, and you're having thumb wars with people, and you have no freaking clue
who they are. Even.
None. Yeah, that's good.
So let's get out. Let's meet some people.
Yeah.
And
well, hey, follow my events page. Speaking of getting out, like there's some events coming up. I'm booking things. They're free events this summer.
Free.
So there's two ways you can do it. You can do that by going to actually the only way that you're going to figure out, I don't know if the camera's on me right now or not, I can't see, but the only way that you're going to figure out how and where they're going to be is by an email list. This is an exclusive like friends event, so you have to be on the email list. I'm going to announce them on my Facebook page. But in order to actually know the exact time and whereabouts of these events, you have to be on email. There's a lot of reasons I'm doing it that way. Free events get a little bit weird for some people. So we want to make sure that you want to come and it's not just something that's being thrown out there. So email events@mattloganspeaks.com will get you on that email list. If you want to follow my Facebook page, Events by Matt Logan Speaks is where I'll, splash some kind of teasers up there. But in order to actually know the whereabouts and the time of these events, you have to sign up for the email. So there's my plug for myself.
Brilliant.
How can we find you? We're going to want to find you.
You can find me anywhere online at I'm Cory Greenwood. I am Cory, Cory, Green and Wood. I'm Cory Greenwood.
Let's see what our last comments. Oh, so go ahead.
I was gonna say I put some ridiculous content out there because I like to show people that you can have fun and still be serious at the same time.
Yeah, that's a problem for me.
I'm working on you.
Yeah, I know you are.
You're working on me on like being serious in some moments when maybe I should be more serious and I'm not.
Yeah.
And I'm working on you with
Yeah.
Let's laugh a little bit.
For sure.
So it's a team.
Matt Logan Speaks everywhere. Minds, Parlor, Gab, Facebook, you name it. You can find my content. I try to put things, there's a lot of things on for my content that I put out there that I don't really agree with, like the philosophy of that particular person. But there again, the reason I put it up there is because, hey, you know what? That makes sense. Here's common ground for us.
For sure.
And that's huge, is that common ground. Whether you agree with all their philosophy or not, we find that commonality. So that's huge. Hey, thanks for joining us. We're going to read a couple comments quick. So Cory, I'm going to look at the comments. So wrap this up and then I'll talk about the comments here.
All right. So like I said, if there was one takeaway from this is people are more important than our opinions. So treat people how you say you feel, and just have fun. This past year has taught me to have fun, to not be so serious, to not try and fit the mold, but to literally just have fun. I talk about a lot of deep issues: suicide, mental health, bullying, all this stuff.
And as I wrap up, we've just got one more comment, Cory.
One more comment. Here we go.
So I appreciate the comments today. It is wisdom in the water.
Wisdom in the water.
Should be in the water.
Should be in the water.
Yeah, it says wisdom in the water, should be in the water. So there it is. That is how we wrap up. Don't forget to hammer the like button, hammer the share button, and we will see you all on Friday.
See you guys.